Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Magic Beans podcast. My name is Cracker, and I have Chewy with me. How you doing, mate?
I'm good, mate. The best host has joined us again. I appreciate that.
Thank you.
Yeah,
the best co-host is here with me. And, mate, big episode. Episode 90.
Stop it. Wow.
90. Can you believe we've been doing this for 90 episodes?
No. And so I guess only 10 weeks to a bit of a milestone for us. We get to raise the bat. So maybe we should do something special for that.
We probably should.
Yeah.
We'll have to think about that one. But, we've done a couple of, Beans look-backs already and the 12-month mark and all that sort of stuff. But, yeah, maybe we'll have to try and come up with something new.
Yeah. Let's do some brainstorming, or maybe we should consider what we should
it got
do.
banned.
Yeah.
A nice little portent there.
Oh, well done. I did
Thank you.
I did ponder how I would introduce that for a little while, but yeah, it's Oh my goodness.
Oh,
what are we doing?
We could just do a whole episode 100 just puns the whole way through.
Oh, lock it in. Absolutely. It's just magic.
It's just 5 minutes more puns than we normally do in an episode, but
Yeah, that's it. People appreciate it.
I think so. So just the two of us this week. Stu is busy recovering from getting the Pfizer jab, and Shorty had a couple of other things to take care of. So that's all right. Capable hands here. We are well able to talk about a bunch of Magic cards for a long period of time.
Absolutely. The less people on here, the more time I get to talk. I'm pretty happy with that.
Exactly. All right, but before we get right into that, speaking of Magic cards, where is the best place that people can buy them?
There is only one answer to that, one possible answer, and that is Josh and Pat's Bazaar. They are a Facebook auction group. They have nightly auction with premium auctions on the list. I love just scrolling through on the weekends. It's so good.
They're so pretty.
They are so nice. And I've got a delivery coming, which is good. So, yeah, they have a full-time auctioneer, which means that their packaging, their communication is second to none. And you can get some great bargains. Just the sheer volume of cards means that pick up some value. And when you do win, just tell them that the Bean sent you.
That's right. We appreciate it. Josh and Pat do a lot for us. They help sponsor all of our events, which we'll get into in a little bit. The league and the Beans tournament series, which is well underway this year. It's just great. We're really happy that they're a part of our show.
Absolutely. Part of the Beans family now, actually.
Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, I do the appropriate thing and lose to Pat every time I play him. Not voluntarily at all. He straight crushes me. He's just actually good at Magic.
Good at cardboard, yeah, absolutely.
He is. He slings it both ways. He'll sell it to you, and then if you want to play a game, good luck.
Exactly. Excellent.
All right, so we've got a few things to cover off this week. A few news items, a couple of surprise things that came through, and then, a couple of the more recent things that we had happen, a few events that we want to get across. But let's start off with a little bit of sad news. Historic Horizons has been postponed.
Yeah, we pumped it up on last week's episode.
I was so pumped. I was ready for it, man.
Yeah, it was cool. And, the jumpstart thing, you were all teed up to stream some of that, and we were brewing decks. I was interested in Historic again, and then, you got to wait another, was it 3 weeks?
Yeah, something like that. So I think it's the 24th of August now that it's coming out.
Yeah.
Look, it's complicated. Admittedly, they're introducing a bunch of new cards into Arena for the first time, and I would rather that they delayed it and got it right than introduce stuff that just doesn't work properly. That's a way more frustrating experience.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. And as someone who fully understands, release cycles of delivering development, so I get it, and absolutely the best course of action, if it's not ready, is to not go live with it. So we get that, but we've got to wait a little bit longer for Historic Horizons. Luckily, the league weekend for the MPL didn't have this legal anyway for the timing of that, so that is fortuitous. And we just have to wait a little bit longer. So, that's a bit frustrating because nobody's really wanting to play Historic because they know there's a big shake-up coming.
Nobody wants to play Standard because everyone's sick of Standard.
Yeah, exactly. But
yeah,
they did acknowledge that in a way, which is pretty cool. And they've, going, okay, maybe we'll get some more players into Historic because we've got this sweet new set coming. We don't want players to have to burn too many wild cards, even though cards. So what we can do is maybe draft some of the historic sets, right? So there's over the next 3 weeks while we wait for Historic Horizons, we've got an Amonkhet, Kaladesh, and a Ikoria draft week, basically, for each of those sets. And the first entry into each of those events is on Wizards. How good's that?
I'm legitimately surprised, and I think this is an awesome move. Well done, Wizards. These are good sets. The first two, Amonkhet and Kaladesh, are the remastered ones. So they released them, they're a little while ago now, actually. Probably more than 12 months ago, I'd say, for the Amonkhet one, and probably similar sort of time frame for Kaladesh. I mean, honestly, the last couple of years are so blurry, I've got no idea. They could have been 4 months ago, they could have been 2 years ago. I don't know.
A combination of lockdown and just sheer volume of releases in the Magic world. It is very hard to keep track of. I'm flat out remembering what day it is, let alone when new sets came out. So
it's pod day, mate. It's pod day.
And I only know that because of Reese and Dark Ashy in the Discord reminding me. So keep it up, you bean sprouts. So thank you. But so Amonkhet Remastered and Kaladesh Remastered. We talked about those when they were announced, but it's not the full block like it was back then. So they basically have tailored a draft format, but there's also a spicy constructed cards in there that you can pick up for Historic. Absolutely amazing. And it's free. So you know, it doesn't, it's just value, right? It doesn't cost you anything.
Yeah, absolutely, for sure.
You know, you can just pick up a bunch of cards, and if you happen to get some wins, you can, get some gems out of it and all the rest of it as well. So,
look, you're guaranteed 3 rares.
Exactly right. Yeah.
So for the price of a little bit of your time, you're guaranteed at least 3 rares that may be good. Pro tip for Amonkhet: blocking is for suckers. It's a super aggressive format with cycling and a bunch of payoffs, and for memory, red black is really good, and quite aggressively limited.
Yeah, what's that dragon that exerts?
Glorybringer.
Yeah, Glorybringer. Like, just open Glorybringer.
Yeah, do that.
That's a very good magic.
Can confirm that is a good way to win limited matches.
Absolutely. You had that in your team sealed at the GP, right? You had Glorybringer.
We did.
Yeah, very good. And then Kaladesh. We can all remember that energy's a mechanic again, but there's the artifact themes I really like in Kaladesh, and unlike the
Ikoria?
Yeah, no, I was going to say with the Kaladesh ones, because it's the remastered set, they don't have the draft warping pieces in those boosters.
Yes,
so
correct.
You're not going to die to a sort of feast of famine in a limited match. So that's good. And yeah, and that's a fun format. I did draft that a little bit when they released that. And yeah, Ikoria, Lair of Behemoths, with those cards are in standard, but will be rotating very shortly. So it's a chance to, pick up any of the triomes you're missing, or just draft a sweet set like the mutate mechanic. Was pretty good, and you didn't have to have a dedicated mutate deck. There's just good creatures that have that ability, and very fun set. I did enjoy its set.
Yeah, it was really good actually.
Yeah.
And yeah, the mutate stuff was kind of just free. The value was pretty good on those, so
yeah,
definitely worth dipping your toes into, even if you're only just going to do one each, because I mean, like we said, it's just free. Who doesn't like free Magic cards?
Yeah, exactly right. So it's just great, and it's a really good, acknowledgement of from Wizards on, they missed a date and they're holding themselves accountable, and they're throwing us something that is, not insignificant, 3 free drafts. And do you know what? This is a great option for people. And, I love Limited. I'm an advocate for playing Limited, and firmly believe that being good at Magic, you have to be good at Limited to be a well-rounded, good Magic player. It'll make you better at building decks, etc., etc. We've got whole evergreen episodes on this, but some people are, put off by the investment and not really know, and all the rest of it. This is free. Get in, try it. This is 3 free swings. So, it's not only is it 3 rares and, whatever else you might pick up and maybe win some games along the way, but 3 opportunities to learn, and that's going to make you a better Magic player in the long run. So,
and if you want help, just post in a Limited channel in Discord and say, hey, I want to draft Amonkhet, but I've never done it before. stream it into Discord, and I promise you'll have a bunch of people just jump in
Absolutely.
and draft with you and
will
help.
have
Or
the brain's trust.
or you can draft the deck and post a picture of it and get ideas on cuts. We've seen a bunch of that this week where people are just like, oh, I don't know what I need to do, and you get a lot of really good feedback. So, yeah.
Yeah, the community's lit. It's so good.
It's amazing. Yeah. It's so good.
Uh,
All right.
Yeah. So get on free drafts. Love it.
And then when we get Historic Horizons Jumpstart, I will stream it because I'm still very keen to do that. We'll just have to wait a few more weeks, but that's okay. We can wait. So the next thing we've got here is the ESL ANZ Champs. The first event happened last weekend. So did you get a chance to play in that one, mate? Or was family matters?
No, it was a bit of a fan bam day on Saturday. And we've got a little bit of a, not the virus, but a virus running through the place. So the idea of asking my, less than fully healthy better half to look after 3 less than fully healthy kids and to keep them quiet while I just played Magic just didn't seem like a fair thing to do. So I missed out. But I did pay close attention to our Discord throughout the day. And a bunch of beans played in that event. I think there was about 150 players registered, 127 made it to round 1. And yeah, it was great. There was a bit of drama. There was a few close calls for people who were in contention throughout the day. A couple of people from our community streamed it for the whole event as well. Even if they were no longer in top 8 contention, they were still streaming to their respective Twitches and things. So that was really good to see as well. Some good exposure for some high level Magic here in New Zealand. Sorry, Kiwi. Yeah, Kiwi friends, you were there too.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Correct. We love New Zealanders. We really do.
We do.
I married one.
You have to say that. Yeah.
I mean, she's not here. She doesn't listen, so
Yeah.
But
no, we love the Kiwis. We love the Kiwis.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, absolutely.
They're good value.
So yeah, look, it sounded like it's the first time that ESL has run a Magic tournament, right? So they are a large, prominent esports organisation in Australia and New Zealand. We talked about that a little while ago when this was all announced, and we were very excited about what the potential for this is. And they had teething problems. There's kind of no other way of putting it, right? There were definitely challenges that they encountered, like every esports organisation we've seen that's tried to run a Magic event who isn't familiar with how Magic events go.
Exactly.
So it is a complicated thing, particularly when you start messing around with open deck lists and the ways to get those out to people. And, it is not like a fighting tournament where you just say, it's you versus you and here you go. There's kind of a lot more moving parts to it. So they got through it. I think the first few rounds were a bit loose, and then they kind of got their feet under them a bit by the end of it and sorted it all out, which is really good to see.
Yeah, they'll have a lot of takeaways from this, I think.
They really will.
Yeah.
They really will. So I know the Wandering Bard did a bunch of commentary, and he's active in our Discord and was asking for feedback and got some really good constructive points to take back to them, and hopefully he can just share some of that knowledge, because we all come from the place where we've said this a bunch of times, we want these to succeed, we want these to be amazing, because that's just good. It's good for everybody, right? So why not have a really well run free tournament that you can enter on a regular basis? So congratulations to the Professor James, who finished in the top 8 with a 7-1, which is an awesome effort.
Yep. James has been in and around our leagues, made the finals of our last league as well. So
sure did.
Having a good
cracker,
run.
Let's go.
Nice.
Roland Royce, apparently that dude can Magic as well. Made top 32.
Yeah, very good. 5-3, I think they finished. Yep.
And Benny R finished in the points as well.
Yeah, so Benny R was on the bubble for a little while as well. They were kind of riding that wave, and unfortunately took a loss late. And Sprat from our Discord, a bit of a lurker in our Discord. Be great to see a bit more of you, Sprat, but was in contention early, but unfortunately ran into some stiff competition towards the end.
So we've actually got a meta game breakdown, which is, I mean, we love these things, right? Like, isn't that one of the best parts about Pro Tours and GPs? Stats.
Love it.
We're all just stat nerds. So unsurprisingly, Winota just chilling on top.
Absolutely. So how many Winota decks do we have?
23.
And the next most represented decks was tied for Rogues and Sultai Ultimatum 15. So that's a significant portion games. There was an other field which made up like 50 decks, but you know, people playing their brews. But as I guess to be expected, most represented decks: Winota, Rogues, Ultimatum, Gruul, and some then monocolored decks. But the disparity between Winota and the next two is a bit of a surprise, but the deck is kind of the hotness at the moment.
Is it though? I mean, Winota's such a stupid card. Like, it is doing something inherently unfair. And I think that the Naya builds these days are just really good. You know, with Esker's Chariot and, you know, just, you know, the Selfless Savior to protect it. And, you know, there's just a bunch of early interaction, you know, Spellbinder. Is it Elite Spellbinder?
Yeah, PV. I think it's the deck that uses that card the best. You know,
I would agree.
Yeah, it shows up in...
J-Mud would disagree, but...
J-Mud's deck, I think, even though it was mono white, probably still falls into the other. It's a bit of a J-Mud special, and it is very good. He made Mythic with it. I'm not saying that J-Mud's deck's not very good. It's probably better than J-Mud is, but... but it's a... I don't think... you know, because Winota is like that hammer, that big haymaker, and it clears the way, right? It clears the way on 3, Winota on 4, and away you go. Or it clears the answer to Winota, which means that you get that extra swing, you know, you get that extra. He's really good. What is filthy about the Naya build is playing Winota and then using it to crew the Chariot and then getting an attack in with, you know, the wolves,
the cat tokens, the cats, and the Chariot, and then making another cat, and it just I may or may not have lost that to that in the league recently. If it's got a really good toolbox these days, and it's not as all in as some of the previous builds of Winota have been. I mean, the early days of Winota were very all in, but it's got a really good fair game. And then, it'll just all of a sudden, you know, drop Winota and attack with a bunch of things and get triggers and Kenrith, and then he's throwing around +1/+1 counters and trample, and you're all dead.
Yeah, so, absolutely. It's...
And the double striking...
Blade Historian.
That's the one.
Yeah. So,
just to really finish things off.
So I got a little bit, if I can't beat them, join them, because I just kept losing to it on ladder and in our leagues, and I don't know.
So you're playing Rogues?
No, Winota.
Okay.
And, like, sometimes you go, like, Sentinel into Innkeeper, into Winota on 3 and Bash, and then, like, they're just... And you're like, oh, yeah, like, Magic's fun. It feels like you just stormed off, right? And but I tell you what, I lost a lot. We talk about Winota being just busted, and a lot of people complain about it and such. But I think, you know, if you've got people like Skips or Tom D from our Discord that have played a lot of Winota over the journeys. Like, since Winota's been in standard, they've been playing it, and I think now that a lot of people are playing it, they will be rewarded for their experience with the deck or with the archetype, because you know, you have those games where it's like, oops, I won, but you know, sometimes you don't draw a Winota, sometimes, you know, your opponent has good cards against you and all the rest of it, and you've really got to work for it. And if you can't execute plan A, like, the deck's kind of anemic. And, you know, the Chariot helps that, and you know, the speed that you can get off of the mana acceleration and things like that. But it's still not as good of a beatdown as like a Naya Adventures or a Gruul aggro or a red-white, just, you know, Warriors beatdown, right? It's not as focused. So there's a skill, I think, in being able to eke out those wins when you can't. So don't just think you can pick up the deck and just crush. Like, there is play.
Oh yeah, definitely, absolutely. And knowing when to press advantages and hold back and kind of play for Winota as the big top deck finish, you know, like saving a bunch of, you know, cat tokens and things like that to try and just, you know, get that big turn that wins, or know when you have to push and all that sort of stuff. Like, it's definitely a lot to it. It's not just a I win the game button. But I mean, Winota with a couple of triggers is usually pretty close to I win, or, you know, close enough to the next turn is going to be. So look, definitely super powerful. Not surprised to see it. I am surprised that Rogues is this high, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it's...
I had played it a bunch, and it really feels like it's just dropped off. in terms of being able to keep up with Winota. If you don't have a counter or like a removal spell ready to go, you're buried immediately. So I'm a little surprised that that's so heavily represented, but I guess people were playing what they have. And worth noting in this, we had a bunch of people who were in the event talking about in the Discord for ESL, that there are a lot of people saying, how do you challenge people? I've never used this before. So there were a lot of newer players in the event as well.
Which is amazing.
Which is brilliant.
So
yeah,
good.
that's not a disparaging comment at all. Please don't take it that way. We are pumped that that's the case.
Yeah,
and
we
that's
want our
probably
game
why
to grow,
this-
right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And that is, for us, it's one of the things that, for me at least, I'm interested to get your take on this as well, but the organization of that is ESL and the size and the reach that they have with other games, they would have been beating the drum on, we're going to do this Magic thing, and there'll be people that are like, oh, I played Magic 5 years ago, 10 years ago in high school, or that there will be people out there that had never played before, and it's like, oh, this arena thing, it's free, why not? I'll give it a go. And then they can jump into this event, and it's awesome. So, some of them will go, nah, not for me, but there'll be people that go, this game's amazing, and, they're bringing more people to the game, and it's brilliant. More people in our area, our region, that they're going to like it, and, maybe we can see them in our leagues. Who knows? So, it's great. Love it.
Yeah, absolutely. So there was another large event that happened in terms of significance, which was the Challenger Gauntlet.
We did talk about this one last week, and it happened.
It did.
Yeah, and we have some results, and we have deck lists. It's all very interesting. It's anything that jumps out to you having a look at these, and who did well. Looking at the deck lists, again, there's a bit of an odor. What I found though is the prevalence of Gruul Adventures was a little bit of a surprise. Maybe it's got a good matchup against Winota, I'm not sure, but so we've got Naya Adventures from Sam Pardee. We know that guy can Magic. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of the top 12 decks are Gruul Adventures. So the usual suspects in, Lovestruck Beast, Edgel Innkeeper, Bone Crusher Giant, with Goldspan Dragon at the top end, with Jasper a Sentinel to sort of help things along a little bit, especially in combination with Magda, is a really, really powerful mana engine. And, throw in a Chariot and, Embercleave at the top end. It's a very, very powerful deck, and we've seen Gruul be pretty consistent across the meta, and I think Jaspera Sentinel and Magda post rotation is just a really good place to start. If when your Innkeepers and your Bone Crusher Giants are no longer available, just have a look at the red and the green cards and what goes well with Magda and the Sentinel, and maybe the first iteration of the decks are like Zorn and a toolbox of dragons, and you can yeah,
sure,
you could just go and get Tiamat or something. I don't know, but it's or maybe it just a more sort of aggressive deck with that cheats on mana. Slight tangent there, sorry, but. Yeah,
no, right.
It's as evidenced here. It's a powerful synergy, and wrap that up with the cards that have been the best cards in Standard for a really long time in the Adventures package, and I'm not surprised to see it put up results, especially when you slap an Embercleave on the top of it. So yeah. I
mean, Goldspan Dragon and Magda are just like best mates, right?
Yeah, they get along
in every
very
possible
well.
way.
Yeah.
And the fact that Goldspan is a relatively new card, and so is Magda, and broken into this super powered format, says a lot for those cards.
Absolutely.
And a lot for their longevity as well.
Absolutely. And then the green creature land, Lair of the Hydra, being able to use all of your treasures that you're able to create and just make a giant threat out of your lands is absolutely phenomenal. It means you've always got something to do with the mana. So
Just don't let the auto tapper get you.
Oh, every
Because
time.
it will absolutely tap your Hydra for that extra bit of mana. And that's not what you're looking for. You don't want it tapped.
Absolutely.
When you want to attack with it. Anyway,
what jumps out at you? What are you feeling from? Well, should we read out what they all are? Actually, I think I didn't quite.
Yeah,
get
sure.
There. So, with Sampardi, so I'll just read through the list. We got Nair Adventures, Is It Control, Gruul Adventures, Naya Winota, Gruul Adventures, Sultai Ultimatum, Nair Adventures, Gruul Adventures, Nair Adventures, Dimir Rogues.
Yeah, there's a lot of adventures going on there.
Oh yeah.
Interestingly, so only one Winota deck, only one Rogues deck,
and one
Ultimatum.
Yep, and the rest is just adventures.
And the rest are just adventures. So
please rotate.
Do you like white with your green and red cards?
Yeah, that's your deck building consideration right there.
Pretty much. And that was for what Elite Spellbinder it looks like, and Giant Killer with the pickups here in Sam Pardee's list. And look, congratulations to Sam Pardee. He is now qualified all the way through to the MPL for the next however long it is until it disappears. So, he did really well.
Showdown of the Skulls also in Sam's.
Right.
Yeah,
yes,
so that is... and look, if you're expecting a magic lesson here, sorry, tangent number
Go for
47 for this episode from me.
Mm-hmm.
If you're got a mid-range creature battle going on, you're playing a mirror, going bigger, being that turn slower, but going bigger is often a path to victory. Showdown of that. So everything that I've just described, but you draw extra cards and make your team bigger, it's a good way to win.
Yeah, you do not want to be the smaller mid-range deck.
Nope.
That is an awful place to be.
Nope. Exactly right. And if somebody says, hey, do you want to draw more cards than your opponent and have bigger creatures? Like, I'm in. Like, when you break it down like that makes it pretty simple, right? It's a no-brainer.
Sure does.
Yeah, and the Gigantha as the companion randomly.
I mean, it's just a free roll.
It's just free, yeah, absolutely.
It's just a 5/5 sitting in your,
Yeah, whenever you need it.
Command zone. I mean, not command zone.
Yeah.
I do know it's not that, guys. Just
like
in case you're wondering. All right, so look, it's interesting. I mean, again, this format's kind of been done to death, I think. There's no real surprises here except perhaps the percentages, but as far as the lists go, they're all pretty well settled now, I think you could say.
Yeah, absolutely. It's funny though, Sam Putty's now in the final season of the MPL.
Mm-hmm.
Of all of the other challenges here, like a few of them are names I know, but there's a lot that I don't. And come on, Wizards, be better at promoting your people. Gosh, like I know we know Arnie from a Mythic Invitational.
Mm-hmm.
Gavin Thompson, Logan Nettles has been around for a long time. But yeah, there's a lot of players here that aren't exactly household names. So congratulations to them for doing well and getting to this stage and having a crack at the MPL. You're obviously very good, but I think Wizards has let them down a little bit. There's been no sort of star building, unfortunately,
mm-hmm.
and it's if the MPL has failed, I think. And we've mentioned this, it's to look at why it failed, and I think that's a significant part of it.
Yeah, definitely. The other, I suppose, real highlight for these guys is the 4 of them have made Worlds. So Sam Pardee, Niori Yuki Mori, Arnie Hoshenbeth, and Kyusi Saito have all qualified to the Magic World Championships. Which
huge.
Instant 50 grand in the pocket, right?
Yeah, just an appearance
for just turning up.
Yeah.
So, I mean, obviously that's a massive deal to them. So, like that's the problem. It's like here's this huge event that people are qualifying for Worlds for, and like we don't even know about it.
Yeah, it was
or
not
particularly
very well
want to watch
marketed.
it.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's not get into that because there's something else we can talk about instead. There's
KCI.
Well, yeah, absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Actually, the note here says that Etron is the best deck in Modern. I figured you wanted to talk about that instead this week.
Well, shout out Masonitas.
Yes.
Is in our Discord and the founder of Team Exodus Panda and has an active Discord and a stream and definite friend of the cast. Decided to play some Spell Table Modern for Friday Night Magic. So if you're listening to this before Friday night, jump over to our Discord and there's a link to the spell table to sign up in the Modern channel. So yeah, jump in, play some paper Modern. So it'll be, spell table webcam setup. And yes, E-Tron is the only Modern deck I own, so that's what I'll be playing. So bring your Blood Moons, bring it. And I'm really looking forward to that. It's going to be strange having to shuffle, but yeah. Shout out Mason Edis for organising. It's good.
Yeah, well done. That's awesome. That's actually not the topic though. We've talked about this before. The only reason that I come on the cast is that there's a ban announcement or there's a new set, and there's been no ban, so that must mean there's a new set.
There is a new set. What do we got? Innistrad. We're back to Innistrad.
We are.
Hunt. So this is the third time I think we've gone back to Innistrad.
Third and fourth.
This
will be.
Yeah,
the next two sets.
Yeah, this is more akin to the block type format
It's weird the way they're doing this. Anyway.
Yeah.
So
there's new cards.
This one is there is new cards. This one's going to be coming out in October. This is the Halloween set. They tend to like to do Innistrad. I think it's actually the 10-year anniversary from the initial Innistrad release. So, yeah. We were reminiscing earlier about old sets and how long it's been. But yeah, I'm pretty sure that's kind of why they've done this as a bit of a... Innistrad is a very highly regarded set for a lot of people. It was really at one of the peak points in a lot of people's playing, and original Innistrad is considered to be one of the best draft sets ever.
Yeah, absolutely. You can't argue with that. And it's a... and they did really well with the shadows over Innistrad as well. It was really enjoyable. Mm-hmm. We saw some really powerful cards. The standard out of that was a bit with all of the humans, but it balanced itself out eventually.
All of the Eldrazi.
And the Eldrazi, yeah. Well, the original one just kind of broke Modern. But,
oh, sure.
Yeah, but the Bant Humans deck out of the last iteration of Innistrad was a bit too OP, and we see a lot of those cards get played in the Humans deck in Modern, Thalia and her Lieutenant and such. But, this time around, we've got, like you said, Halloween is definitely the timing and things, but we've got, 6 or 8 cards or something spoiled so far, and I'm excited. We've got some cards that are very good. We've got some cards that are strict upgrades. We've got some cards that are pretty cute and harken back to some of the sort of fan favorites from previous sets, and even cards that just are a nice little nod back to the previous cards, but in a slightly different color. So there's obviously, there's been some goings on the Innistrad plane, and things have been shifted to borrow a time spiral term as well. So
yeah, look, we might as well just read through them all because, like you said, there's 7 or something like that. And I guess from a lore perspective, that'll be on how the plane of Innistrad recovers post the Eldrazi having been there. I'm pretty sure that's confirmed that there won't be any Eldrazi theme this time, which I think will make a lot of people happy. They'll just get back to the vampire and zombies and all those other creepy horror themes that people
more werewolves
loved.
For those people that are happy with the green 3/3 in the mono green deck at the moment, and that are just itching for that critical mass to be able to make a werewolf commander deck. So
maybe you'll get a good werewolf commander this time.
Yeah, that's it.
Good luck. So let's start off Ren and 7. So this is a new version of the Planeswalker Ren and 6.
Absolutely, just a level up.
Just to level up, yeah. This one is 3 green for a legendary Planeswalker Ren. Starts with 5 loyalty, and it has 4 abilities, so it's good.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe. So +1, reveal the top 4 cards of your library. Put all land cards revealed this way into your hand, and the rest into your graveyard. 0, put any number of land cards from your hand onto the battlefield tapped. What? -3, create a green tree folk creature with reach, and this creature's power and toughness are equal to the number of lands you control. And -8, return all permanent cards from your graveyard to your hand. You get an emblem with you have no maximum hand size. Thoughts?
I love it. It's very, very good. The only thing about this card that worries me is it might not have a home, and we don't know post-rotation whether a deck to support this will exist, but if there is a deck, this will bring that deck right up to,
There's guaranteed to be some Simic ramp thing that this just fits into, right?
Yeah.
You just, with all your modal lands and all that sort of stuff, you just get to play 30 lands now in standard decks and not get punished for it. So it seems likely that there'll be a shelf for this somewhere.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's it draws cards, it accelerates your mana, it makes threats. It's everything you want in a 5-mana Planeswalker. It passes the test of it comes into play and it can protect itself. So if you've got, cultivates rotating out, but, you could easily, make a 5/5, right? So this comes down as a Planeswalker, -3, here's my 5/5 that's going to grow. So its fail case is it's a 5-mana 5, right? So that's just going to get bigger over the course of the game. So it's
correct, because it's not Ren and 7's ability, it is the ability of the creature to keep it growing. So even if Ren dies immediately, it doesn't matter. You play into the land and hey, it's a 6/6 next turn. So.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's the floor. The ceiling on this card is
huge. I mean, it's
enormous.
Game winning, because that's what Planeswalkers do.
If you've got a 5-mana Planeswalker that doesn't have the ability to win the game, why are you playing it? But it's
Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong. It's a bit sad, but you're not wrong.
Yeah. And it's, I think it's really powerful. This is one of those cards that I think once we start playing with it, we will we think this is a good card now. I think when we actually see this on the battlefield and the effects that it has, we'll get a new appreciation. I think this is better than I think it is, and I still think it's a good card. So
yeah, Planeswalkers are super hard to evaluate because they do so many different things, and you just, like, the next card, like Champion of the Perished, right? It's a zombie. It's got, whenever another zombie enters the battlefield under your control, put a +1/+1 counter on Champion of the Perished. Guess what? If there's a zombie deck, it goes in and it's real good.
Absolutely. So this is
that's a super straightforward card. Whereas Ren and 7 is like, there's like 30 different applications. Good luck.
Exactly. And Champion of the Perished, Champion of the Parish. I like it. It's a nice
it's got
nod.
If you look at the art on it too,
it's the same guy.
He's got the hat and stuff like that, so it's definitely the same guy.
Yeah.
So it's very cool.
Yeah, I like that, and it makes you want to do a Scryfall search for how many zombies are in standard currently, and what we can do to bolster that up. We've got changelings, and obviously there's going to be some zombies out of this as well. So a black based aggressive deck. This is a very, very good 1-drop for standard. So
it'll actually be pretty good in historic too, I think, because there's all the Armenket zombies.
Absolutely, yep.
And like that was a really powerful strategy in that standard. I mean, historic is probably too fast for this, but it'll be worth.
Won a pro tour, right?
It did,
yeah,
in the hands of Cherry Thompson.
Yeah, the guy can cardboard as well.
He can.
Yeah, there's an upgrade to Shock in Play with Fire. That is 1 red for an instant. Play with Fire deals 2 damage to any target. If a player is dealt damage this way, scry 1. So that's, I think it's just a good mode to put on a Shock. The majority of the time, Shock is going to take out a creature. But, if it gives you that agency in your red deck that, often is at the mercy of the top of its deck when we don't have, broken 4-mana enchantments to let us draw a bunch of cards. But it's a nice thing. It's like, okay, I really need this answer. I'll shock you, and I'll look one deeper. So I think that's it's just a better card than Shock, and we're losing Bone Crusher Giant and things. So if there is a red based aggressive deck, it will probably be looking at Shock. Now it gets Play with Fire. I think that's
I love it, and particularly like I've been playing a bunch of Is It Tempo, and you end up in those like end of your opponent turn where you've got some mana floating around. You're like, I don't really want to just Shock Face because it doesn't do a lot.
No.
Like you're generally trying to use it as a removal spell. But the value of Scry 1 definitely makes it a much more interesting consideration. So
absolutely. And still the majority of the time it'll hit a creature. Absolutely. But
then it is Shock. So great.
Yeah, I like it. What do you think of a Triskaidekaphile? I like that it says you've got
Yep.
no maximum hand size and it's a wizard.
Yeah, I like that too.
So,
I like it says pay for draw a card.
yeah.
So it's a 1/3 for 1 and a blue. It says you have no maximum hand size. At the beginning of your upkeep, if you have exactly 13 cards in your hand, you win the game. So this is, hearkening back to Triskaidekaphobia, and there's the Tree of Perdition as well, which was the deals 13 or whatever it was.
Yep. So this is a harken back to that. It's a 1/3/13, as you know.
Yep. Yeah, very cute.
It's a flavor thing. It's it is kind of cool. It's not super good though. Maybe there's some combo deck that we don't know about yet, but I think this is just a cute card that people liked. Triskaidekaphobia.
Mm-hmm.
Tree of Perdition was popular, and they're cashing in on that, and that's cool. That's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're talking about strict upgrades. We have another one here. Infernal Grasp. 1 and a black, instant, destroy target creature, you lose 2 life.
Best Doomblade ever.
Yep.
The end.
Yep. So this harkens back to the original one was Terra, right?
Yep.
Terra was first, and it was destroy target non-black creature.
Non-black, non-artifact creature.
Right.
Yep.
And then Doomblade was target non-black creature.
Yep. And then we've got things like Heartless Act, and then which has got... there's been a number of...
They're always conditional, right?
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
I will pay 2 life to destroy target creature every day of the week.
Absolutely. This is...
Every day.
This card is
multiple times.
So good. So good. And, it reminds me of Thoughtseize with the, the 2 life clause, the unconditionality of it, and with the 2 life. And I'm old enough to remember when, spoiler season rolled around for Lorwyn and Thoughtseize came about. Everyone was like, oh, this is so much better than Duress. And other people were like, no way, that 2 life, it's going to be rubbish against aggressive decks. And it's like, well, if you take a lightning bolt, you're up a life.
Correct.
And so that creature that you are hitting unconditionally that you may not have been able to hit with your conditional removal spell, it's just dead, and it's going to save you.
Did you not can kill a 6/6?
Yeah.
For the cost of 2 mana and 2 life.
It's insane. So
it's super good and uncommon, which is nice.
Yeah, and this will see play in older formats, 100% in historic, and just might be good enough for control strategies in... I could see this being played in that form as well. So maybe not as a 4-of, but I can see this definitely being at least a sideboard option at the absolute very least. But yeah, this is something that's going to show up. I will first pick this in draft more than once. Absolutely.
I certainly hope I get to.
Yeah.
All right. So I want to say my personal pick for last. So there's a couple more cards. So Join the Dance. Green white. Here it is. My favorite color combination. Sorcery. Create 2 1/1 white human creature tokens with flashback. 3 green white. So you may cast this card from your graveyard with a flashback cost, then exile it.
Yeah, this is a fine 2-drop in limited. Having it spread across 2 bodies, it can be a bit prohibitive with the mana cost in that format, but if there is a token strategy supported in the draft, it's going to be very, very good. I like that flashback is a mechanic that is being printed, so I'm excited to see whether we get some spicy reprints perhaps, or we get some new cards of flashback. I really like that mechanic. It gives you some good sort of agency, and you often see the cards. You see a decent playable card, and then you tack flashback on it. It's generally expensive, but you're getting to cast that card again, so it's just card advantage. So it's great. I hope a green-white tokens deck is viable in Standard. I enjoy that strategy. Conclave Mentor is rotating out, but yeah. What do you think of this? What are your thoughts? I'm down. I'm in.
If the deck is there, it's great in that deck.
Yeah.
Right? Like it is just it's one of those things that it's really easy to undervalue in terms of it being 2 1/1s. You go, well, it's green and a white, so the mana cost is a bit rough for 2 power and toughness. It doesn't seem that good, particularly when we're talking about, the werewolf that's green for a 3/3 with upside.
Yeah.
Right. But the fact that it's across 2 bodies and, we have seen in the past green white token strategies and those kinds of things where it's just about these kind of incremental values, and all of a sudden you just take over the board. And, it seems very likely that they have built that in, given this is a very specific that. It doesn't just fit into your average Naya Adventures shell.
Yeah.
It's not a replacement for an Edgewall Innkeeper or something like that, right?
No. So this is, when we talk about limited sets, and we talk about, encouraging people to try drafting, there is in just about every single Magic set what we refer to as signpost uncommons that are gold cards that, you open them in a pack and you read it and you're like, okay, this is a good indication of a thing I should be doing in this format, something that's supported and something that is, built into the design of this set that, you should be doing in a limited sense at the very least. And some of those things are good enough to make constructed. So a green-white thing that makes tokens and flashes back, then I expect to see some token payoffs and potentially, and I don't know how good they'll be, but potentially a flashback payoff. Whenever you flashback a card, X happens, right? So this is a signpost. This tells me that, we're going to see a token strategy supported for limited, and I hope, fingers crossed, I hope it's good enough to break into standard because it's a cool archetype. We've got Felidar Retreat and things like that already in standard. So yeah, I'm excited by that.
Watch this space.
Yeah, absolutely. So there's something else you wanted to talk about.
I do. This one is called Consider. It is, unsurprisingly, a blue cantrip because I loves me some blue cantrips. Single blue mana for an instant. It says, look at the top card of your library. You may put that card into your graveyard, draw a card. So it's opt, except instead of putting the card on the bottom of your library, you put it into your graveyard. I'm just in. Goodbye, opt.
It is, yeah, it's better than opt. And opt gets played whenever
in modern.
Yeah, exactly. And look, if we think about this in the modern context where we've got Delirium, with the we've already got the blue-red deck with, Ragavan and the other guy that...
Dragon Rage Channeler.
That's the one, thank you. That deck just got better.
I mean, what about bin chickens?
Yeah, absolutely.
Like instant speed, end of your turn, mill my bin chicken, draw a card, or just, this thing is great. I'm very excited. Now, we did have some conversation in the Discord about why didn't they keyword this Surveil? And I did some research, Chewy, today.
Oh, what?
I know.
First time for everything, lunch, I guess. Yeah, okay.
It was a 5-minute video by Gavin Verhey, who works for Wizards of the Coast, and he does videos called Good Morning Magic. And obviously, there are a lot of people asking the very same question because Surveil, the keyword from the Guilds of Ravnica set, was exactly this wording, right? It would say Surveil 1, and Surveil 1 meant, look at the top card of your library, you may put that card into your graveyard, draw a card. That was literally what it was. And so, you could Surveil 2 or 3 or whatever it was, there were different cards. So the reason why it's been done this way is in the Guilds of Ravnica set, there was no scry. There were no keyworded scry at all. They didn't want to confuse the two mechanics because they are quite close to each other in terms of usage on the types of cards you would see. So there's no there will be no opt in this set. You just know that because there is Consider.
Yep.
And if we have a look at Play with Fire, scry 1. So they have done it this way so that you don't have it's not an evergreen keyword, which I understand because they don't do that for a lot of things. I love the keyword. I think it's really good. I think it's very neat.
Yep.
But so that's some of the reasoning. They didn't want to reintroduce it because it's going to be on a couple of cards in here from what he's saying. It's definitely going to be, they could have keyworded it, but there wasn't enough support and they've already got scry in place. So that's why it's not keyword.
I get it. I also get the other side of it, but with that explanation, sure. Yeah. Like I'm not upset by it.
No, neither am I.
There'll be Magic players out there frothing at the mouth at it because that's what they do, and they would do that if it was Surveil. Sure. They'd just want something to complain about. But
that's fine. And look, I get that point of view because, then you've got more tools for your Dimir Spybug or whatever it is. Things that are keyworded off the mechanic Surveil don't work off this because it doesn't use that keyword.
Yep.
So there's Disinformation Campaign, right? Which would return to your hand when you Surveil the card.
Yeah.
But, that's not a thing, and that's fine. It's not in standard anymore either.
Devil's advocate, though, this may be what that deck needed to make it playable in historic.
That's
right. So
yeah, absolutely. No, definitely. I completely agree with that.
Yeah. So I know you've done a really good job of talking about other decks that aren't just putting your Gristlebrand from the top of your library into your graveyard as well, by the way. I just want to call that out. I appreciate that. That's some good constraint. I like it. Restraint, not constraint. Restraint.
Yeah. It's a fun card, and look, it's one of those things, if you are newer to Magic, and look, I really remember being newer to Magic and thinking, if it's in my graveyard, then it's just gone, and that's just a downside.
That's not the case in modern Magic.
It is actually so far from the truth. And obviously, I have a huge affiliation with and a love with playing things out of my graveyard. I just enjoy that a lot. Mm-hmm. It's a second library, guys. It's not gone.
It's a resource.
So take Join the Dance, for example. Perhaps we've got a Bant tokens deck where you go, consider end step. I'm going to look at the top card of my library. It's Join the Dance. I don't want to draw that. I'm going to put it into my graveyard. Bam, flashback card. Just chilling there, ready to go.
Absolutely. You
and then
really
you get to draw the lands that you needed to hit.
Or something.
Exactly. And you don't want to put it on the bottom because it's as good as gone then. It's kind of this misnomer that, I can shuffle it back in and maybe I'll draw that card I want because I've got, Fabled Passage or whatever. There will be lots of ways of not necessarily abusing it, but just utilizing your graveyard as another tool. And that's always been a really strong theme throughout the Innistrad sets. And you'll see things like Grafdigger's Cage. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw something like that come back into here as well as the counterplay to that. So, look, it will be a very usable card in this standard format.
Yeah, absolutely. And we'll see play in Historic and Modern also.
Definitely.
So it's an exciting card for those reasons. And it's a common, so it'll get played in Pauper too. So it's...
Yes, it will.
Yeah. I'm excited by this set. I feel like it's different enough, and I think we're all really excited for rotation for all of the reasons we've mentioned previously. But, as far as our little entree of previews so far, I'm definitely excited to see what's for the main course. One thing I'm not super excited about is the full art land, which are all grayscale. So the art looks great on all of them. They're a little bit Sleepy Hollow style, where they're a little bit almost like dark cartoon style. They're very, very cool. Look like something out of an original, the actual Brothers Grimm sort of fairy tale stuff. But the only thing that sort of denotes them as, something that generates that coloured mana is a thin border around the text and the card itself. My fear with these cards is I'm going to make mistakes because I don't realise what colours my opponents have available, and it's just an extra thing I need to check. So I think they're cool, they look great, and, Swamp is purple, sure, but it's I don't know, this is going to lead to some awkward situation, so it's a bit of a shame. I love them, they look great, but playing with them, I think, is going to be a bit of just an extra thing you have to check, and Magic's already complicated. What do you think?
Yeah, no, I agree. And I think they'll actually look better in person. And it might be easier to see when they're, on a reader or whatever. They tend to stack them in colours and things. So, look, yes, I agree with what you're saying. It's just one more thing that you have to keep track of. And honestly... Maybe
I'm old and this is just an old man yelling at clouds moment. I don't know. But one thing I'm very interested in, and you said... how they may look in person, physical cards. What is a foil grayscale? I'm interested in that. I can't wait to get my hands on one and have a look.
Yeah, for sure. If you haven't seen them, we didn't actually say they are full art again.
Yeah, which is definitely an Innistrad thing as well. Innistrad Zendikar, if they don't have full art lands, we're sad. But yeah, it's they're different. They are different, and they've been exploring the full art land space for some time, and we saw the ones with Theros, and they were beautiful and full color. These are kind of the opposite of that. So if you're trying to imagine them in your mind, they are the opposite of the Theros Beyond Death ones. So
Yeah, or, just look them up. And no, I'm not putting them in the show notes. Get lost.
No, I haven't mentioned that once because you're a good host. That. So
thanks. Yeah. All right, we just got one more thing to touch on, and we might have to come back to your other topic another time because you and I have done what we said we'd do and talked for a long time about a bunch of Magic cards.
It was always going to happen.
D&D League. We are in the final day, by the time you listen to this, of the group stage for our league. So we've actually got some results.
Oh, really?
Which is pretty cool. I know that Group Shorty's top 4 is all locked up, so congratulations to those players. We've got K-Pop Fanboy up at 6, Jedi's Walker, and Shorty actually finished in 4th.
Nice.
Which means that he passes that down to Benny R, who finished in 5th place, but because Shorty isn't eligible to play, it goes down to the 5th place finisher, which is pretty awesome.
Yeah, congratulations, Benny R. That is very, very good. I think the 4th spot for Group Chewy is still up. So I'll double check. It says match at the moment. Yeah, Plunksy and Aragoth are battling. No, I think we're locked as well. There you go. No, if I refresh, I'm currently sitting in 5th, trying to get a beans point. But yeah, it looks like we've got Skips J on 10-1, if you don't mind. J Mud must be playing that mono white deck that's really good at 9-2, and we've got Aragoth at 9-3, Plunksy at 8-4. So just looking at. Then it's me at 7-4, Aluka at 7-5. So I don't think anybody can knock them out. But do get your matches played because every match that you play this week does put to the draw to win a collector's boost. Folks at Josh and Pat's MTG Bazaar. So yeah, that is great. How's the other?
I believe that Group Cracker is locked. We've still got a few matches to play. Not a lot, but the Discord's been pinging in my ears while we've been casting, while people are setting up matches. But Tom D, the AV cable, is definitely locked in at 10-2.
Yep.
And then we've got Hemsy, and I'm pretty sure that we're going to have a Lab Monkey and Pat, World War Me, filling out 3rd and 4th. I don't think anyone can jump them now. No, I'm pretty sure we're locked at that point.
Yeah, yep.
Which is
absolutely. So congratulations.
Really, really tightly stacked group here. We've got 4, 5, 6 all at the same record at 8 and 5, and just tiebreakers and things. So tough beats to M. Harris and Arcturus, and let's just not talk about my record because I didn't have a great league.
Well, you're not getting the wooden spoon like another certain other bean in Group D, so hold your head up high there. In groups do Squid Place. So we had a couple of people had to pull out sort of midway through the league, so they had slightly less matches to play, but that's just the nature of the 4-week round robin. Squid Place, 10-1. Pjaw, the ever present Pjaw at 9-2. The Professor, fresh off his top 8 of the ESL event on the weekend, in at 3rd at 8-3, with the Sweet Man on the same record. And then we've got the Last Unknown at 5-5. So we're locked at that pretty point. Sure they're locked. Yeah. Yep. So that's I
think that's almost everyone.
Yeah.
That is it, right? That's all the groups.
Yeah. So still play your matches because get into the draw to win a collector's booster. Mm-hmm. But yeah, we can say that is our top 12, and so well done to everybody. The groups the biggest that they've ever been. We were just sort of on the cusp of having a 5th group, but yeah, it just meant that we had to play extra rounds this time around. So well done to everybody for getting through those. Maybe lockdown helped, I don't know. But
yeah, no, for sure. Like 12 or 13 matches or whatever most people are playing is a lot, right? And well done. A lot of really good chats in my group and in the other ones as well.
Yeah, good banter. And, really good.
Love to see it. So it will be, as of Friday night, I believe, usually about 10 or 11 o'clock, the new stages go up for the double elimination because we've got a top 16, and then that will feed into the top 8, which will play out, and we will commentate and cast the top 8. So looking forward to that. That's usually another couple of weeks away yet, I think, sort of later towards the end.
Yeah, and fingers crossed we can do that in person because it is logistically a lot easier. And we made we made do in the last one, but with Infect Rules and Shorty coming to my place because Shorty had a tree go down in his street and didn't have any internet. But yeah, fingers crossed we can all get together and make it a big shindig. I have got a giant Magic Beans banner that I want to use for our background. I haven't had the opportunity yet, so it's a let's all get together and get Polywaffle pressing the buttons and make it happen. So I'm really looking forward to that. There's a lot of hype and a lot of enjoyment that comes out of our leagues, the league finals coverage. It's great.
Definitely. Really looking for it. It's always a good day.
We've got a Twitter giveaway.
We do have a Twitter giveaway.
So
it's a whole box of Magic cards. But
like, not just any box, though. Like, it's a Modern Horizons 2 box. It's just huge. It's phenomenal. It's like high-end stuff, right? And all you've got to do is jump over to our Twitter at Magic Beans Cast.
That's the one.
And what do you need to do?
You need to like, follow, retweet, and I think you need to follow us on Twitch as well, for memory.
Yeah.
To be eligible.
Which is all good because then you can watch our coverage of the finals.
Exactly.
And we do giveaways in the chat as well. So it's just value. Like, we're just giving you stuff. So just get on it. It's great. And that's going to end fairly shortly as
Correct.
well. So.
The 16th.
Yeah.
So we've got, by the time the cast goes up, you've probably got 3 days left. It'll be on Monday night. We'll do the draw. And it's open to the whole world. So regardless of where you are, don't feel like it's only an Australian thing, even though I did try and convince Shorty that he could just deliver it to my place. Actually, he's further than 5Ks away now, so it's a bit
he could post it.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
No, I was trying to save him on postage cost.
Oh, yeah, fair. Just, like, figure out, like, if there's 5Ks, if there's, like, a park you can meet in.
Correct.
You can wear, like, a trench coat.
The Venn diagram that you have to do.
Yeah. yeah, that's right. Oh, I love it.
Yeah, so good.
Yeah, that's... get on that because that's amazing, and that's from the great folk at Josh and Pat's MTG Bazaar. That's just some of the love and support that they show us. And speaking of Josh and Pat's, they've got, I think we might have mentioned on the cast last week, but they're awesome. New tokens. So if you win an auction from Josh and Pat's MTG Bazaar, they have a whole library of tokens that you can get now. And one of the prizes from our tournament series is the winner of the Invitational gets to design a token. And Hemsey took it out last year and did a Not the Threat token for a little bit of extra banter in your Commander games. You can say, look guys, I'm definitely not the threat, definitely not comboing off next turn. So it's a really cool token, but what's just sends it over the top is on the back, it's got our logo. You can get your own Beans token. So get onto that. So it's a pretty limited run actually. So if you don't get onto it quick, so you just got to jump onto Josh and Pat's and win some auctions, people, and then ask for that token. There's only 1,000 of them or so. So make sure you don't
just
miss out on those.
easy to do.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yep.
So last couple of things here. As we already mentioned, if you can follow us on Twitter, that would be amazing. We're at Magic Beans Cast. Same for Facebook, Twitch, YouTube, all the regular places. Our website is Magic Beans Cast. Just Google us, we'll turn up. Everything else, if you want to support us directly, you can buy some sweet merch. We've got, mugs and playmats and all kinds of fun things that you can get. You can get those directly from our Stream Elements store. There's a link in the show notes for that one. I will put that one in. Otherwise, if you want to follow me directly, I am at JoelHill_ on Twitter, and Chewy, you are?
At Chewy MTG.
Thank you, everyone. Appreciate you listening, and we will speak to you very soon.